What was the reason for your visit and why Spain?
We held an event in February in Warsaw where we brought together all of the business development teams from across Europe. First time we've ever done it. Just a fantastic experience and a great event. One of the things we asked the teams to do was a Dragon's Den event initiative, so they were coming up with ideas about how we could improve things. One of the actions that came out of that was a suggestion to get the exec to go back to the floor to experience the day-to-day jobs of all of our people across the business.
What did you learn during your time in Madrid with Bruno?
It was a great insight into the challenges that the sales teams face on a day-to-day basis. So we went from everything from sales calls, so we talked to 3 customers, and those were on topics from new business wins through to implementations through to contract changes. Again, some of the work that I saw and some of the challenges they face is the amount of time they spend working with internal business partners just to make sure implementations or changes are happening in a way that the team would like. I found it really interesting the level of detail that the team were diving into. So Bruno in one instance was going from talking to the Premier team through to implementation teams through to the customer. So again, getting the job done and doing it well for the customers is a challenge. So really insightful from that perspective.
And what was your specific highlight of the day?
I think the customer call was a big highlight. I was terrified in part at the speed at which Bruno moves around between different applications and looking at different information. So it was quite awe-inspiring to watch the speed with which he was doing things. Another of the commitments we gave whilst we were at Warsaw was to invest in Salesforce. So Bruno's 3 weeks into using Salesforce, and again the enthusiasm he has and the value he sees it adding to his day-to-day job was huge.
And finally, where are you going next on your back to the floor experience?
So next I will be going out to Warsaw and spending some time with the teams responsible for boarding, so the back office teams there. So what we've committed as an exec is that between now and the end of July we'll follow the customer journey all the way from the front, from a recruitment perspective, through to live. So a number of us are doing different visits during the course of the next 3 months, but mine is boarding in Warsaw.
The 2015 Talk to Us survey is coming out on the 13th of May. What are your thoughts on where we are and what we can do better?
Firstly, I'd say a huge thank you to everybody who first took the survey, and then particularly the volunteers who've been helping us as part of the action group. So we've had action groups running both on the global areas such as empowerment and leadership, as well as down to local market activity. So here in Watford we've got a team under Richard Wilkins' leadership who've been looking at issues that are specific to the Watford and the UK location. So firstly, thank you to everybody. Secondly, we've seen some great progress, we've seen some great activities coming out of all those initiatives, everything from improving the way we're supported as colleagues by GTS through desktop support and other areas, through to some much more significant changes that we've made from a customer perspective and a colleague perspective. So we've made good progress. What have I learned from it? I think we need to give the activities that are taking place more visibility. We need to give the colleagues who are volunteering more support, and more support in the form of formally recognising as part of their objectives for the year that if they volunteered, and I do want volunteers rather than forcing people to do that, that they get recognition as part of their performance review. So creating the space for them to do that formally rather than asking and relying on best endeavours. And the final piece is the visibility. So again, lots of work's happened, and e-zines and other things have been fantastic, but I still think there's more we can be doing, and there's more visibility we can bring for our colleagues to see the progress and to feel the progress.
Thank you.